Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dreams of owning a home or investing in one. So, there was a question that was on Clubhouse where someone said, if you were dropped in a city that you've never been before and you had to do a deal, what would you do? How would you go about it? So I thought I would expand my answer on my channel here on YouTube. And here is what I have to say. The first thing I would do is if I'm at, let's say, a hotel, or even if I'm not at a hotel, I'd get on the phone and I'll go to Google and I'll search to see if I could find if there's like one of the national real estate investors associations located somewhere in that particular city. Next, I would go to my Meetup app and I would see if there's any real estate investing meetings going on in that particular city. I would write those dates down, and along with the time and everything else, right? Now, with meetup.com, you can actually see the names of all the people that belong in that meetup group. So let's say I'm only going to be in that city for a particular time period, and the meeting is not going to be while I'm there. I would actually email one of the people or several of the people actually, that is in that meetup group and ask them if they had any time so that I could speak to them on the phone and find out whether or not they have any deals. Okay? So then the next thing I would do is there are some places that have a tax lien association. So I would call them up and I would find out from them if they were having any meetups, any meetings, conferences during the time that I was there. If they said no, that's okay. The next place that I would go to is I would look up the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce, normally you have other business owners and you also have realtors that meet up there as well. So I would look to see the regular Chamber of Commerce, the Women's Chamber of Commerce, and the Black Chamber of Commerce. I would go to all three of those and I would see whether or not they were having a meeting. And I would attend those meetings. Okay. Now, sometimes there are tax lien auctions. Now, many tax lien auctions are online, but you still have some that meet in person. So I would call up county clerk's office and I would find out when is the next tax lien or tax deed auction going to be held. And if it is occurring during the time that I am there, then I would get the list from them. Now, many counties, they have that list for free on the internet, and I would go through that list because in that list are deals. I would choose which deal I wanted, attend that auction, and that pretty much would be it. Now, as far as getting to those meetings, right? I would either take a taxi or I would take public transportation. My preference when it comes to public transportation is a bus, because if nobody on the bus looks friendly, normally the bus driver, well, I have seen some bus drivers that weren't too friendly, but normally when you sit at the front of the bus where the elderly people get on, there's normally somebody who's a chatty Cathy who will tell you everything and more. So that's the person that I want to sit next to on the bus, because that person is going to tell me about the different neighborhoods. See, a lot of realtors, they're not always honest. They only want to highlight the good things about an area, but they don't necessarily always point out the bad things about an area. But people who live there, who just want a friend, they'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you everything. So that's why. And then, of course, taxis. Why? Because the taxi driver has driven through just about every single neighborhood during the daytime, during the afternoon, and during the nighttime. And we all know that there are some neighborhoods that look one way in the daytime, but they look hella different in the night. So that's why I would take a taxi to all of these different meetings so that I could get to know that particular area a little bit better. Another great place to find out about a particular city is Eventbrite. There are normally a number of different events there. I would look at both the real estate events that they had going on. I would look to see if they had any business events going on. And I would also look to see if they had any government events going on and attend those. Because, again, not only would I get deals, but I would get a good lay of the land from a number of different people from networking. The other place that I would definitely go to, that I would definitely hit up, is the City Planning Board. Why? Because the City Planning Board tells you up front where there are problems in the city and whether or not the city is planning to fix them, how they're going to fix them, and how long it's going to take them to fix. So that is like one of the number one places that everybody really should go to whenever they go to another city. Right? But after I do all of that, after I, gather all this information from all these different places, there is social media, right? On social media, you have sites like Connected Investors, Realtors, and then you have Facebook groups for each city and each town. I would join whichever city or town that I'm in, join the real estate group on Facebook, and I would just ask a number of questions. Does anybody have a deal? Where is the most ideal neighborhood? Those type of questions I would ask them if I was just dropped off in any old place, right? Then, as many of you know, I'm also on Clubhouse. And with Clubhouse, I would actually go through the list of who's on my friends list. I would type in the search area, I would type in the name of the place that I was located at. And then normally, your friends, whoever's on your friends list in Clubhouse would pop up. And I would send them an email, either through Clubhouse, or you can also send them an email through Instagram because of that link, right? And I would, again, ask them if they had deals, ask them if they knew the lay of the land, Ask them if they could recommend a realtor, or I might already have a realtor that I befriended from the app on there already. Okay. All right. The next thing that I would do, and I love to do this, is many cities have what they call like an overall tour of the city, where they pretty much, take you around. They may show you like historical places and things like that. Why do I like that? Because you pretty much get to see, depending on the city, you may not see the whole city in one day, but you see most of the city in one day. And the tour guide, they're not necessarily real estate people, but tour guides, I find that many of them know the lay of the land. They can tell you, okay, rent over here, because I've done this before, I know. They'll say rent in this neighborhood costs this amount, over here costs this amount, and this neighborhood is this. They're another great resource for real estate information. They don't even know it. They don't even know it. That's the beauty of it. So they're not going to try to pressure you or push you like a realtor would to buy in this area, in this location, etc., etc. They're going to give you their honest opinion. And you can also ask them for references. You can also ask them, hey, do you know a good realtor that I can go and talk to? Hey, do you know a good lawyer that I can use to help me close on a deal? You can do that, guys. And then the other area, depending on, each state, each city, they do things different. Some places have a building department. Okay. So you can also visit the building department, and the building department, for example, would let you know who owns what property. So while you're, let's say, on that city tour bus, or even when you're in that taxi cab, and let's say you pass by property that looks like it needs some help, looks like it may need some TLC, then guess what? You write down the name, you write down the address of the property on a piece of paper, and then on your phone, go to the building department's website and type in the name of the address, and it'll tell you the name of the person or the name of the company that owns that said property. So that's one way of finding deals the regular way, right? But see, I do mortgage notes. I don't even have to do all of that. If I want a deal, I just go to places like Paper Stack, or I go to the Facebook groups. I don't have to get on a plane. I don't have to take a train or nothing like that. I just go directly to the internet, look at the price, look up the information that I need on that particular property, and then if I like it, I buy it, and that's it. If they have any property that happens to be in that particular city at the moment, then instead of paying somebody to go look at the property for me, because that's what I normally do, then I myself would take it upon myself to go look at that property myself and take pictures, right? And do more analytics, and then say, okay, this is the property I'm going to get. So guys, that's pretty much it. That is basically what I would do if somebody were to drop me off in a city that I've never been to before, that I never researched or looked at before. Those are the things that I would do in order to get a deal. If I had to get a deal. But of course, you don't have to get any kind of deal, right? Oh, and before I forget, I would definitely go to sites like citydata.com to figure out, just to get the statistics as far as, what employment is like, how many businesses exist in the city, that sort of thing. That's one place I would definitely go. And I might even go to the tourism office to find out what those people know as far as tourism is concerned. Like, are they going to build a new stadium in that particular city? Does the city have any plans as far as bringing more tourists to the city? Like, all of that is definitely important. And if that is the case, then I want to know where they're going to be building that stadium. I want to know where, like I know Walt Disney is going to be building in Fresno. I think it's called Fresno. It's somewhere in Texas, and they're also going to be building another place in North Carolina soon, right? So I want to know where in the city that's going to be. And I would buy a building there, no matter how terrible it looked. I would buy a building right there. But my favorite way, honestly, to invest is mortgage notes. So I would really prefer to just go on Paper Stack and look to see, okay, or Crexi or LoopNet and those type of sites, and see, okay, what's going on there. Or even the Facebook groups, and see if there's anybody that has a note in those areas, and then just buy that note there and call it a day. That's my preference, right? As far as doing a deal. Or, I would also ask if there's any flippers or whatever that needed private money in those areas. And I would definitely, after going over the numbers and everything else, I would say, okay, I'm interested in doing a deal here. Let's make it work. All right, guys. So hope you like my answer. Feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you would do if somebody was to pick you up and drop you off somewhere that you've never been before. How would you go about getting a deal in that particular city? All right. I look forward to your comments. Until next time, good night. Feel free to share, of course. Bye.